Oh, hello. Yeah, I'd like to make a pledge of $120 and ask all the DJs on all the commercial radio stations who should pick up on this, to contribute likewise, because clearly they're selling their souls for the miserable dollar when the real purpose of public radio or radio in general is not to constantly sell, 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 to gird people for more and more car crashes and more alcohol and God knows what else. The purpose is to educate people and to lift people from the uncivilized, savage, android, mindless policeman of today's headspace to a civilized human being. And that gets lost in the whole worship of money, the whole need for money. And of course, that's still in the hands of the Zionists. And I think also it's time for us to really seriously ask what is going on in these communities where secret societies are allowed to indulge in all kinds of private agendas, and the public are deluded into believing that they're all intending on doing nothing but public good. It's pretty evident it's a system of top-down coercion and misuse and abuse of everything, including the airwaves. And what I see is what David Barsamian said. We are on the life raft of public radio, and I came in early out of this from the BBC to the CBC, and then to the public broadcasting people who knew that it was necessary to counter the deluge of propaganda that was stealing all of our minds and our lives and dumbing us down. And I think it is extremely valuable and more important that CHLY begins to lift itself by its bootstraps and begin to encourage and more importantly, elevate the minds of the young people in that area, and certainly the people in this area. And I think that can only be done by really hard work and really good programming. And as an idea for that, I'd like to have something like a phone-in brains trust concept, where people can phone in with the best idea how to resolve something, like let's reinstate the Bank Act of 1934 as it was written to bring Canada out of the Depression, and should never have been changed. But the man who's really in the hot seat about that today is Mr. Chrétien, who probably, I'm not into retribution, but I think the damage that had been done by the manipulation of the Bank Act that was written by Jerry Grattan McGeer with the agreement of the British at that time through Lord Macmillan, whose son I think became then one of the prime ministers later on. But anyway, the whole thing got Canada through 5 years of war without debt. It produced the third largest commercial maritime navy in the world at the end of the Second World War, and so on and so on and so on. And all of that was done by simply the Canadian people taking the raw materials that had been stolen by their forebears, sustaining that greed, and generating the world today. Yeah, I got jammed then. I guess they don't like what I was... Yeah, they don't like what I say because it's the truth and it frightens them. And knowing that truth now, everybody does who can hear it, then I think we can now all aboard the life raft, and nobody... Serious jamming, eh? Hello, back in communication, good. Well, listen, somebody's listening, and clearly they have been for years, because I've been outspoken since I came after 12 years to Canada and did an analysis for them. And at that point, my job was done until later on I was called to go and blow the whistle at the time that things were going bad with the poor Mr. Trudeau, who was caught between so many factions that he basically had to sell out to the corrupt bankers. and that's continued ever since. Of course, it's all been controlled since the end of the Napoleonic Wars by the Rothschilds and their associates, and the game of money needs really near to end. And we can do that in about 5 years, I'd say, if we had something like a brains trust on your radio station where people could generate the best ideas and find agreement and so on. And I hope you take... Thank you everybody for listening. I'm sorry, I'm somewhat moved by the opportunity. Thank you very much. Thank you all.